2022. If we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Farrington, would you lead us tonight?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Madam Clerk, will you do roll call, please?
Sikora?
Here.
Terenzi? Here. O'Donnell?
Here.
Dion?
Here.
Ryan?
Here.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Here. Thank you. We have a quorum tonight. At this point in the meeting, we open up the floor for anyone from the public that would like to speak to any item that is on the agenda. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address City Council tonight? All right. We have no unfinished business. Consent business, I would like to remove the approval of the agenda from consent tonight and add a closed session just prior to adjournment. So I'd be looking for a motion to remove the approval of agenda from consent and add an agenda item just prior to adjournment for closed session.
So moved.
Motion by Sikora,
Support.
support by Terenzi. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Terenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Dion?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Now I would be looking for a motion to approve all the consent business that remains.
So moved.
Motion by Sikora,
Support.
support by Dion. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Terenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Dion?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. We have no correspondence. Moving to new business. We have a very exciting thing to do tonight, swearing in of Officer Monique Eliza. Did I do that right?
Yes.
All right, I've been practicing, I promise.
You?
Chief Cody, would you like to go to the podium?
Mayor and Council, thank you again for giving us some time today. As you're well aware, we've been seeking out some very qualified individuals to fill some of our vacancies, and we're fortunate enough today to introduce you to our department's newest addition, Monique Eliza. Monique comes to Utica from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, where she was part of the Mount Pleasant Police Department since 2017. Throughout her tenure with the Mount Pleasant Police Department, she was promoted to detective, where she was assigned narcotics and major crimes unit. Monique has relocated to Michigan to be closer to family and pursue some career opportunities. The city was fortunate to find her. I'm proud to introduce and welcome Monique to the department, and I look forward to seeing her enjoying a rewarding career here. Tonight, Eliza is joined by her father and her boyfriend for a formal swearing in. Her father, Celso Eliza, will be pinning her badge on for tonight's ceremony. So if I could have both of you down with the mayor.
All right. Here's the-
We try. If you could raise your right hand and put your left hand on the Bible. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
the Charter for the City of Utica,
the Charter for the City of Utica,
the rules and regulations,
the rules and regulations,
policies and procedures,
policies and procedures,
and the general orders
and the general orders
of the Utica Police Department,
of the Utica Police Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of police officer
the duties of police officer
for the City of Utica
for the City of Utica
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
That's all. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you get the honor, sir. May wisely go.
Congratulations.
Happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
For those of you here for the ceremony, feel free to join her in the hallway for photos and celebration if you like. I know the meeting is exciting, but we can do without it. Thank you.
Good night, everybody then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Mike. Just a side note, her father just flew in today to be with her for this ceremony, so it's a great family event. So
That's great.
thank you all.
Maybe we should close the door, somebody. All right, moving on with new business. We did have a public hearing at 7 PM tonight to address the variance request for 44059 Davis Street. So at this point, we would be looking for a motion to approve the variance and obviously open up the floor to city council for discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variances requested for 44059 Davis Street.
Motion by Sikora,
Support.
support by Terenzi. Any discussion from council? I think we brought up some of these items in the public hearing. The scope of tonight's vote is really just to approve the variance as listed in the packet. The process going forward, if this variance is granted, according to Mr. Hicks, there would still be a site plan review. Would that entail a public hearing as well?
Possibly
Possibly, we don't know for sure if that,
not just yet, but
okay. But any of the FEMA or Eagle considerations, those would all be addressed during,
yes.
okay. And I know at least one resident did have some concerns. If there is no public hearing, how would he be able to address those concerns with the city?
Yeah, basically you have to talk to Eagle, and then Eagle would contact us. And he can always contact us directly too, what his concerns are. But it goes to Eagle before it comes to us.
And what Eagle, the deliverable from Eagle is what, a permit? A building permit, is that?
Not the building permit, they give the
An E-
okay.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting about this thing.
Yeah, they would give us the okay to move forward with the permit for him
Does
to
that
build.
come in the form of a document or?
Yeah, well, the last time they contacted me, just to say, hey, he didn't need any, any specialties as far as what they were concerned with the river being there and so forth, but they would look at everything and then they would say, yay, they need this, this and that. And then they would either usually they send me a document or an email stating what their requirements are.
Okay, but that would all be funneling through your
Yes.
department, right?
Yes.
Any further discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote.
Sikora?
Yes.
Terenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Your variance has been granted. Thank you. Next item for new business, we have our friends from the Utica Alliance here tonight. If you could step up to the podium and give your name and address, please.
I'm Jean Rowe. I'm a treasurer of the Utica Lions Club. And as I've mentioned before, we're a small, labor-intense club. We have a small budget, not like Shelby's big budget. We have just a little one. So we do the best we can. For those of you who are not aware of too much of what we do, in June, we always host pancake breakfast for the citizens of Utica. It is free, and we just leave a little jar out there for any donations. We don't make much, but it is for the citizens of the city. Also, when you had your movies in the park, we provided free popcorn. You can't have movies without popcorn. But anyway, and so then we sold hot dogs and sodas and pop. And that's about what we've done this summer, except we did 2 weeks ago, we did do our cleanup there on Hall Road, so we got that job done also. Our next job will be our shrimp and steak dinner, all you can eat. That's this Friday night. This is really our big event of the year. Hopefully, we can make approximately around $5,000, which will be probably about half of our budget. Doesn't sound big, but every little bit helps. Now, this year, we had a pancake breakfast during your car show. And we did very well, thanks to the cooperation of all the city workers. During when we were doing the hot dogs in the park, we talked to several people, and we heard that the movie cost the Parks and Rec more than they had anticipated. So what we did was we went back to our group and we talked about it. And we decided that because we had a little extra money from the car show, that we were going to spend it all, which we always do. We never keep any money. It always seems to come in and go out. I don't know if that's because of me or what it is. I'm not sure, but anyway. So consequently, we are here to give you the $1,200 that we made this summer. So here you go. So the first one is the Utica Library. I'm giving you a check for $750. Who can take it for me?
City.
I'll take it over.
Okay, you'll take it over?
You gotta get in more, whatever.
Yes, I have also here, because the fire department were so good to us, when we set up for the pancake breakfast, it's a labor-intense job. It has to go fast, because here we are sleepy at 5 o'clock in the morning, and also because the people are coming in with their cars and they want to eat right now. So it's really labor intense. If you've ever done it, you know how you sweat and all that stuff. Anyway, so we wanted to give the fire department a little bit more than we have been able to in the past. So the fire department, we're going to give a check to them for $500. Is there somebody here that can take that?
Chief Wilson.
And last but not least, is there someone here from the Utica Parks and Recreation that could take this $500 check for them? Okay, good. So thank you, and I want to express our thanks to all the community that have helped us with this, with gifts, sponsorships from the Utica area. It has been very generous of you, and we need every single bit we can muster. So if you could come Friday night, you're certainly welcome. It's all you can eat, steak and shrimp. And my son has gone out and he's got this beautiful loin that looks really yummy. Anyway, and so we have a salad bar, and then a potato bar. So, and then the steak and shrimp, and as I said, all you can eat. And also there's dessert for those dessert lovers like me, you know. So anyway, so if you can make it, please come. Doors are open at the American Legion, or the VFW, isn't it, Bernie? Okay, anyway, at 5:30.
American Legion.
Open, American Legion, okay, American Legion's cast, anyway. Anyhow, so, and the salad bar is open at 6, entree is at 6:30, so you're all welcome, we'd love to have you all. And again, thank you, and if you talk to anybody that has donated to us, tell them how much we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crowe. You know, for the steak and shrimp dinner, regretfully, I won't be there Friday because my son has a football game, and it's senior night, and so the parents have to go out on the field, and But I went last year, and it was fantastic. So anyone that's likes shrimp or steak, it's definitely a great event.
I will be selling raffle tickets there. I'm sure that will be my job. I'm sure Rob will give me the job of selling raffle tickets.
Ms. Pro, what was the donation? What was the donation to attend?
It's $35.
35, okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not
perfect.
too bad nowadays with restaurants going out. so-
Sure.
Yeah, that's,
Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, June.
Next item under new business is the Christmas light installation. This is something we've done for the last few years. We've kind of had a ongoing contract with Landscape Services. When I got the proposal for this year, I did notice that the cost went up from $2,950 last year to $3,500 this year. So I called our salesperson Brett and asked, why the cost had gone up approximately 16% over last year. He said it was due to labor costs. I did alert him that, we're very frugal here in the city. And we hope that, this is not going to be a trend with the cost going up from year to year. He said he would do his best to keep it at this cost next year. And in your packet, you will find the contract attached. So I would be looking for a motion to approve hiring Landscape Services to install the Christmas lights in downtown and the North Van Dyke corridor,
What's the amount again, please?
$3,500. And it is important to note, if, what they do is they keep our lights for us. So they take them down and store them in their warehouse. When they come back to put them up, if there's strands that are out, they replace those, and there's a cost on I know the contract's kind of hard to read. I think it's $16 per 50 count string that they'll,
It is.
yeah, they'll replace, any strings that aren't working. So that $3,500 obviously doesn't cover replacing of any strands, because they don't know, if strands aren't gonna be working. So I'd be looking for a motion.
I'll so moved.
Support.
Motion by Terenzi, support by Sikora. Any discussion from council?
How are we on finding a tree? Any progress? I have a,
Still October. but-
I know. Well, I asked because I have a buddy.
Still looking, actually still
Yeah.
open to suggestions.
because we're
I have
insolvent.
my eye on one, but I've gotta go up there and see if it's available.
I asked because last time you asked, I have a buddy who, their family does Christmas trees, and I'm like, I got any like 30-foot ones? They're like, nah, no, none of those.
It's not much smaller than that, though. About 25 we normally get.
Okay.
You've done a great
Yeah,
job.
so 25, I mean, we'll
Years and
take a
years.
30. We have a chainsaw.
Right, yeah.
It's
Well,
just a matter of getting it here.
right,
So
yeah.
I think if that works, we'll talk, because we can see about.
Well, I'm saying that, do you have any 30-foot trees? And they're like, no, not even close.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Your
said
guy.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
my guy
well,
said that,
that's-
yeah. That's why I asked.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lang.
Any further discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Next item under new business is our Michigan Enhancement Grant, and we are very fortunate to have State Representative Diana Farrington with us tonight, who was instrumental in helping the city of Utica procure this grant. This all pretty much originated from a wish list we all put together, department heads, council, wow, what about a year and a half ago now, I think? And so, yeah, we're very fortunate to have been awarded. I think the original list had like 12.8 million on there. We really didn't expect to get that much help. I know you did. But we're very, very grateful for what you were able to get for us. If you'll look in the packet, council members, you'll see that some very pressing items are all going to be addressed for the city. I'll just run down the list. The Davis Street lift station replacement, the North Point sidewalks, a portion of our lead service line removal, the entire city's sanitary sewer rehabilitation, new police radios for our police, a new patrol vehicle for our police, and a new Quint fire truck for our fire department. We were able to keep that all under 2.5 million. I did it, as this list was originated, I think it was about a year and a half ago. I did check with our engineers to make sure that, prices didn't inflate too much. And all these numbers reflect adjustments made by HRC. So I feel real confident we can get some very important things done for the city with this very generous grant that Representative Farrington helped us with. So I would be what I'm really looking for a motion to tonight is to be able to submit the initial grant documentation listing the following projects that I just mentioned. And again, they're all listed on your agenda item summary form.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Dion, support by Ryan. Any discussion from council?
Just great work per usual from our state leadership. Excellent work. Representative Farrington has been a fighter for Utica since she graduated from Utica High School. She's been a hometown girl, grew up here, and now she's bringing all of her skills and her hard work back to the city. So as a resident and a fellow chieftain, thank you. Chieftains. Very appreciative of your hard work and dedication to our city. It's amazing.
And I might as well add, she was instrumental in helping us get funding for other major projects when you were mayor, Councilman Dion. The Pioneer Dog Park, in fact, her name's on the plaque on the building there. Also, Summer Street rehabilitation, the curbing on Van Dyke, Memorial Park, where we hold our annual memorial ceremony. All that was, due to the hard work of Representative Farrington. So we really thank you for everything you've done for our city. We're going to miss you. I believe you're term limited. So we're losing you this year, but you will not be forgotten, that's for sure. So thank you.
We got a seat right over here.
Is there any further discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Thank you, Representative.
All right, moving on to department reports, I'll kick it off. We just had very happy news. Unfortunately, now I have to bring up the sad news. My friend and all of our colleague, Councilwoman Townsend, had to tender her resignation. Her and her family moved out of the city of Utica. I know it was a very not a difficult decision for her to move, but she really had regrets about leaving council. She became a very good friend of mine, and I think to the city of Utica. We valued her dedication. She always put the needs of the residents first. I counted on her as a confidant. I called her many times for advice on things. So she will be missed. Since we have elections just around the corner on November 8th, I believe we should just, per city charter, we have 90 days to appoint someone when there's a vacancy on council. Since we have an election, a month from now, I would propose, and I'll bring it up in the next council meeting, which is actually after the elections, that we just appoint whoever the non-incumbent who wins the most votes. We have 2 incumbents running, and we have 2 additional folks running. So the non-incumbent that receives the most votes next month, I would put up for consideration to appoint to replace Councilwoman Townsend.
So, but the non-incumbent, assuming one of them, that person is going to win, so you're going to appoint them, or you're just going to appoint the person that didn't make it, or is it going to be?
Maybe
there's
third
four
place.
people-
Person that
Maybe
would,
third place?
Or third place, yeah, I guess that's a better way of saying it. So even if they are an incumbent, yeah, right?
Regardless of
No,
status.
no.
they're-
And we can discuss
So,
this
yeah.
next, we can,
I'm just confused because if you got elected, I'd rather be called elected than appointed. So,
well, no, that would just be, her term ends in December.
Right.
oh,
right,
okay,
right,
I
right.
understand, okay.
So whoever wins would be taken over on
I'm
January 1st
forgetting about
anyway.
this.
Anyway, right, right.
Okay,
But, you know,
understood.
we can discuss this next
Yeah.
council meeting probably.
Well, but to your point, right, let's say what's likely happens and I get unceremoniously thrown out of this office, right? Even if, so there's one incumbent who wins and two non-incumbents, we would still want to appoint the higher vote getter. That's what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, so yeah, I
Just
guess
to fill the term.
incumbent or non-incumbent
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
third place.
I would say third place, but again, we'll do that next month.
Okay, okay.
After the elections. But tonight, all I'm really looking for is a motion to accept the resignation of Councilwoman Townsend.
So moved.
Motion by Sikora,
Support.
support by Dion. Any discussion from council?
What if we say no?
Right.
Let's try and see if we can get her to stay. I'm all for it again. I'm all for it.
Knowing Sherry, I don't have the guts to do it.
All right. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. If Sherry's listening out there in cable TV land, you will be missed.
She will.
Yes.
And as I briefly mentioned, I just want to remind everyone that the city council meeting next month, we normally hold our city council meetings on the second Tuesday of every month. Next month, the second Tuesday is actually election day. So we voted, I believe it was last meeting, to move the council meeting to the following Tuesday, which is November 15th. So that's published on the website. It was voted on last council meeting, but I just want to remind anyone that's watching on cable, the city council meeting will be delayed 1 week next month. Does anyone else from council have any reports?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman O'Donnell.
I have two. The first one, I got a question from a resident, which I did not have a good answer for, on the downtown bridge on Auburn, over the river. Why do the crosswalk signs disappear when it gets cold outside? Is the first question, because people still, I mean, even through winter, the guy whose door I knocked on, he says, well, sometimes I'll ride my bike to work in winter. So there's that. Then the other question is, can't we make those permanent? I mean, those are,
We tried to install those.
Ridiculously useful.
We tried to install those, and they were mounted in the pavement, and they were promptly ran over and destroyed. So, yeah, so Mr. Lang had developed an idea of having them portable, which turned out to be the best option, because those weren't ran over as often, and if they were replaceable,
right.
so.
Mr. Lang.
Mr. Lang,
But, so.
Yes, sir.
To your point, I mean, those were, so what we have out there in place was, an initial,
Mike.
might have even been, might have even been a brainchild of the previous mayor, I forget. It was brought up that, possibly we have some type of signage for pedestrian crosswalk. So we actually put those together ourselves and put them out, and then they got mowed down many times. And in the earlier years, the pedestrian traffic was less. So we have always, and because of plowing, we have always taken them down as the weather changes. But moving forward, we could look at something that, possibly could be permanent.
just a consideration, throwing it out there.
No, for sure, especially like if we do a road improvement project, like that crosswalk that would be a good one for like a state-sponsored project, Iron Bell Trail, where it's actually an overhead instead of on the sides.
Oh, yeah.
Something like
You got any
that,
extra money
just
left?
to think about moving forward.
If I could add, I know you emailed me this week. I received a similar email, and I
Yeah.
believe Councilwoman Terenzi received the email about the lights at Grant Park.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I did reach out to Mr. Lang. We believe that there's timers for the separate timers for the tennis courts and basketball courts on the wall of the restroom building. But Mr. Lang indicated there's a master timer inside the building that maybe during the power outage got out of sync or something, so he's gonna look into that.
Yeah, that's typically what happens with that. Those outdoor timers, we put those in place because there used to be something else, it's going way back, to where or the lights in the tennis courts were just on all the time. So in an effort to save money, in fact, all the courts, in an effort to save money, we opted to put a manual one in that if you were going to use the court, we'll go turn the lights on, and it would only stay on for X amount of time. That way in an attempt to save energy costs.
Plus the
But then-
residents too, that
and
live on
then-
Grant Park, they have
right, and
ambient
then
lighting.
but inside, there's a master timer that won't allow them to come on until after, or won't allow them to be turned on after 10 o'clock was typically what we had them set to. And then, but because of the type of timer that is if we experience a power outage, it gets out of sync and we don't catch it. So somebody complains and then we go over, it's like, oh yeah, dial it back. So that's more than likely what's happening here. So, but we'll look at that.
Thank you, thank you.
Which, I think I sent that email out to the mayor, but I don't remember if I copied everybody on.
I forwarded them.
Yeah, okay, all right. Very good, thank you.
My other item, Mr. Mayor, is I'm the Planning Commission liaison. Should I talk about it? Is anybody here from, nobody's here from planning to talk about it. We had so I used to be on Planning Commission. We had what I think was the best attended Planning Commission I've ever seen. It was a very controversial project that was before planning. You all may be aware of Parcel C. Talk about that pedestrian crosswalk. It's essentially right there north of the crosswalk. And Jimmy John's Field, USPBL, is contractually obligated to place a structure there. Retail, commercial structure. What they proposed, I think it's fair to say most in the crowd were not in favor of. They, want to build a 3,000 square foot building with a mezzanine. And the feedback, in my opinion, from, what I was gleaning from the folks there was that they wanted something closer to what that parcel is zoned as and something closer to what is in our contract with USPBL, which is sort of traditional downtown, right? Businesses, commercial on the main level, and then apartments or residential up top. I guess I have thoughts on such things too, but I'm just here to liaise what happened. It was postponed due to some questions pertaining to the contract, actually. I believe they were going to forward something to Ms. McGrail, but
I've
stay
already
tuned.
received questions and responded.
Yeah, I would just say stay tuned because that should be a fun next couple of meetings at planning.
Anything else, sir?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Any other comments from council?
Just a quick
Councilman
comment. I just want to say thank you to City Hall to setting up the Toys for Tots box out in the lobby, as well as to the library for setting up one over there, just reminding that people that the fire department is hosting a Stuff and Ambulance event at our Christmas tree lighting. We'll be collecting toys and donating Toys for Tots. If people want to donate early, drop some toys off either at City Hall or at the library, or bring them to the event.
Yep. And City Hall is open 24/7. So, anytime you want to stop by and drop toys in the drop box, please do.
Even at
I
2
check it
in the morning.
almost every morning And I haven't seen too many donations yet.
It's a little early, it's a little
Little
early.
early, all right. Right.
Mr. Mayor, I had,
Councilman Dion.
so I had a resident approach me recently, and they were reading from a website recently that described the city as being insolvent. And I don't know, I've been involved in council here for a couple of years, and I attend the budget meetings as I can. And from my understandings, and I don't know if it's anyone else's, but maybe we could share, is the city insolvent?
No.
So over the past maybe 15 years, we've been in the black? Or we, at least last 5 years?
Well, it depends on how you define, or as far as our budget, we've had a surplus budget now, I believe it's the 5th year in a row.
Okay.
After 11 years of deficit budget.
So the opposite of insolvent.
If a road like North Point Boulevard, for example,
It's my turn to report, sir. Thank you. You had your turn. Okay, I just want to make sure that's.
I believe
where
you're
we're going.
directly addressing me with
I was addressing a
this, but-
resident's concern, Mr. Councilman.
Ah,
You had your
okay.
turn to speak. I appreciate you, though. But we are not insolvent. Is that correct?
The way, I'm not prepared for this discussion, but no, I do, by any definition of the term insolvent, the city's not insolvent. We had, our long-term debt was, and you know, Councilman O'Donnell and I actually had a similar conversation. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at, no, I do not believe the city is insolvent at all.
Okay.
I think we're probably in the best financial condition we've been in probably over 20 years.
I will
agree
Perhaps
with
our,
that.
perhaps
I
our
agree with that.
treasurer would be the person to ask these types of questions
I
to.
will let that concerned resident know that we are indeed not insolvent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for clarifying.
I would, okay.
I'm just gonna address it. I've been on this council for 33 years. Most of my term on this council, we operated without enough money to get through the year, okay? We were bleeding our funds. In the last 5 to 6 years, that has totally turned around through a lot of hard work, a lot of redoing contracts, a lot of unhappy people, a lot of happy people. So the idea of insolvency, and let's put it out there, you put it out on your website, okay?
Sure did.
It's a campaign thing for this year's election, okay?
Nope.
There is absolutely nothing. How do you define insolvency? How do you
If-
define it? And I'm gonna ask you, you have sat on this council for 4 years, so
We-
what have you done to make it
We are in,
solvent?
we are in the best financial position we may have ever been in. And we still don't have enough revenue to cover our liabilities. I'm not talking about the year-to-year budget. I'm saying if the road North Point Boulevard were to disappear tomorrow, how would we pay that? It would be with debt. We'd be financing, once again.
But by
If
that-
we financed that road, would the properties on North Point Boulevard pay for that road over the course of that bond? The answer is no.
We have gone in, before, we have taken millages, you could have a special assessment district, so this is all your, again, a ploy to make it sound terrible, and I'm gonna save the world, okay? We have operated forever in this city, right or wrong. We did our last road bond, we had 3 different bond issues, over 20 years each. That's how we got through it. This year, we are spot repairing roads with monies that we have, okay? So it is all coming into place. We have improved our contracts and cut our legacy costs, okay? Everything about it, every city has to borrow money for big projects, okay? Because we get street funds, we get major street funds, local street funds, you save them up, you use them for the projects. So don't play this game of we're insolvent and trying to scare everybody. This is the best council and the best shape that we've been in my 33 years up here.
I
okay?
agree with that. I
Well,
agree with that.
then-
And we're
then
still, you're
don't-
not, listen, you're
Yes,
saying
I
on
am
these,
listening.
case-by-case basis, you're saying that, oh, we can fill this hole, or we can fix this road. I'm saying that at the bigger picture, we cannot afford the infrastructure we have built.
Somehow or another,
We're
we've
not
managed.
using it efficiently.
Somehow or another, we've managed, the city of Utica does not always get what it wants, but it always gets what it needs. And this council has led that way successfully over a number of years. And I don't see anyone leaving Utica because we're not doing well. People are moving here because it's a fantastic place to live.
I agree.
I can't, you know, when someone brought that to my attention, I was like, I don't know how that's even possible to come out of to end up on a website. To me, this is a wonderful place to live. We have a very hardworking council.
I agree with
And I
all
think that
that.
kind of language is reckless and misleading.
I think that it must be hard to breathe under your head in the sand. I think you can, do all the denying you want. Oh, we're fine, year by year, it all looks good on paper. I agree with that.
I don't know, I look around, I see 200-plus years of success in the city of Utica. It feels pretty good to live here.
Right, and in the last 60 years is when this problem has cropped up.
And what have you done specifically in 4 years to solve that problem? You've gone along with everything, you don't make suggestions at budget meetings, you just go along and then all of a sudden.
That is
boom,
absolutely not true. That is not
exactly-
true at all.
Gentlemen, let's not-
Absolutely.
let's
I
not get into-
participate in
This is politics, Tom.
I'm at every budget meeting. I question line by line things in the budget. I'm saying that the budget is not the issue. The budget is year by year. I'm talking bigger picture.
I think, and Councilman O'Donnell, please, interject if I'm incorrect. But I think this discussion is based on differing opinions of what the word insolvent means, right? I think as this council has done a fantastic job, and I'm so grateful for the cooperation, for the visionary decisions we've made to get the city on track, and I think we've all, every one of us, done a great job in contributing towards that. Can we do better? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm concerned, though, that the word insolvent makes it seem like Utica's in worse shape than other cities. If we go by your definition, and again, interject if I'm incorrect, but if we go by your definition of the word insolvent, literally every city in the state of Michigan, probably every city in the country is insolvent, because I don't know a city that can cover all their long-term liabilities with the cash on hand.
And that's a big problem, yeah. I would say
But
it's
that's not-
probably
that's-
most
that's not
cities
unique to
in the
Utica.
state.
That's not
I'm not saying it's unique to
insolvency.
Utica.
And
I'm
that's-
not saying it's unique to
That's not the
Utica.
definition of being insolvent.
Revenues not covering expenses is,
These are not even expenses, these are fantasies. Like maybe the road will be in bad shape, maybe a hurricane will hit Utica, maybe a train will come through the city hall, we gotta build a new city hall.
I'm talking
None of
about
that's going
if
to
we
happen.
had to finance it.
But we've managed to provide excellent services for the hard
I
dollar
agree with
that people are
that.
paying for their
I
taxes.
agree with that.
Year after year.
You're
Nobody's going without.
Your arguments against what I'm saying, the both of you, are talking around the actual issue.
I don't, see now, that I can't agree with, right? 30 years ago, when it was determined our roads were crumbling and had to be repaired, what does a local government do? They go to their taxpayers and they say, we need to bond to fix these things. Well, guess what? That's the money. So 1 minute before those bonds were approved, was the city insolvent? And then once the bonds were approved, was the city no longer insolvent? I think we're hung up on that word. The way local government works is as a local government, if we decide we have to build some big thing and we don't have cash on hand, what do? We go to the taxpayers and say, do you agree with us that we need to build this big, beautiful thing? And if they agree, they give us the money to do it. Our approach has been to reduce our long-term liabilities, which I pointed out to you are zero right now, drastically cut since the year 2015, when they were, and I'm going off memory, I believe 2.8 million. We are trying to work to spend within our means without taxing or bonding to our residents. And that's why we fixed Hahn Road. With money we had on hand, that had to be spent, was
Yes,
designated to
yes.
spend on roads. You can't do anything but, repair roads. That's what we chose to do.
The properties on Hahn pay for the infrastructure on Hahn. The properties on North Point Boulevard do not pay per square foot, do not pay for the infrastructure it takes to support those businesses. That's insolvency.
That's not the way that works.
The money has to come from somewhere. Where's it gonna come from?
Again, just as we went to the bond for the people in the residential district, if you had to put a new road in, you could go and put a special assessment district to those businesses and say, most of that use is because of you. We are going to put a special assessment and you're going to pay for that road. That's not insolvency, that's the way it works. So are you saying that we should tell those businesses, close up, bulldoze them over and don't do anything with them? Because then I
No.
guess then we don't have to worry about anybody paying for it, because they're not there. Or do we line it with a bunch of houses along those roads and turn that all into apartments, okay? You can't pick and choose where you want to say, we're solvent, we're insolvent, we're doing well, oh, I agree, we're doing great, and then in the next minute you say, we're doing terrible?
I
Okay?
never said we're
There
doing
is-
terrible. I said we have a
every
big problem
community-
long-term.
Every community has to bond or borrow for major projects.
But not
Nobody
ev-
can put, so what do you want? What is your answer right now? You
I've been
just,
saying
you're
this
naming
every-
that district.
Nearly every meeting that we have, I say,
What's your answer?
we need more neighbors. That's the answer. We need more neighbors. We need more businesses. That's the bottom line. This infrastructure we have does not pay for itself, and we need more people paying for it, or a special assessment district, which is higher taxes, by the way,
But
for specific
you
people.
want the
But I'm
people that are
against higher
using it
taxes.
to pay for it, okay? Again, do we tear down the big boxes and put in 1,000 little, hopefully, mom and pop stores? Do you level it down and hope you're gonna bring in 1,000 apartments, okay? Now, remember, when you bring in 1,000 apartments, you trade services. All of a sudden, now you need more police, you need more fire. So you get the panacea that you're getting the tax dollars, but what are you spending out? Because we don't charge for those services, okay? So it's always a trade-off. But you are putting this term out there, trying to scare everybody, but you have no solution. You have not given me one thing except, well, we need more business. You know what? Every town needs more business.
Point of order, gentlemen, I don't think we're gonna solve anything tonight. But Councilman O'Donnell, since all the discussion's been kind of pointed at you, is there any closing statement you'd like to make about this before we move on?
Well, I mean, had I known this was coming, I would have had a whole nice little spiel.
Me as well.
I guess I'll say I stand by it. I stand by what I said. I think if you look at the dictionary definition, we fit it. I think if you look at the white pages, or the white papers, the research, we fit every definition. I don't think it's scaremongering. I don't think it's alarmist. I think that it is a sober take on where the city currently stands. And I think that if you disagree, absolutely fine. I will say that I do resent that I'm being accused of having not done anything, having beat my head against a brick wall on this council for 4 years, and I fully intend to continue to do that. Thank you, Mayor.
You're very welcome. This is a good discussion to have. I just don't know, I think it needs to be on the agenda or a work session. We do want to sweep these type of concerns under the rug and just move on. Although it seems like you and I don't completely agree on things, there are definitely things we agree on pertaining to this subject. So let's try to find, commonplace and work for the better of Utica. That's what I would ask. So
Agreed.
let's not forget this conversation. Let's figure out the best venue, the best way to address it when we can all be prepared, when we can all have, our financials in front of us and have a more, coherent discussion about it.
And Mr. Mayor, that'll complete my report. I'll let the
you.
concerned resident know that they got $5.50 for the 25-cent question.
Very well. Any other reports from council? All right, moving on. We don't have a planning report tonight, nor an assessing report. Mr. Hicks, would you like to give us a report from building?
Nothing to report at this time.
Oh, I disagree.
What do you want to report?
I want to thank you for your work on looking at our fees
Oh,
and,
well,
Why don't you let council know some of the work you've been doing there, because it's all good work.
So what I've been doing is I've been checking with other communities. Our fee structure is low, very low. We're not where we should be. We don't want to tax the residents and so forth, but it's not really the residents. It's the contractors and such that come in. So what I've been doing is I've been checking with other communities about our size to see what they're charging. And then also the ICC building code has a recommended fee schedule. And so we're looking at that as well to get us in line with everybody else.
Excellent. And we hope to have some of that, probably, it'll take more than a month or two, I would think, before we get all that information together. But eventually, council will be presented with what your
Yes.
recommended increased fees would be.
Yes,
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Hicks, appreciate it.
thank you.
No report from library. Chief Wilczek, fire report, please.
Well, with that grant money, we have located a truck, and we're gonna have to make a trip. So, we have to go look at it at least. So I guess, I'll be talking with you directly with that, and then this week and next week, we have fire prevention, we'll be visiting schools. So other than that, that's about it.
Chief, is that a used truck or a new truck?
It's a very good.
Demo?
Very good used truck. It's coming from a rural area that they purchased and, they don't use it, so.
Fantastic.
Just happened to find it.
You guys always do a great job. I mean, you were like the master of finding the best possible deals
Yeah,
out
well,
there.
it's a 77-foot straight stick aerial, and,
No bucket?
it's got, 8,700 miles on it. So,
Wow.
What, 500 hours, engine hours, I think.
yeah, 567 engine hours, and, what else did it have on it? And there's some equipment that comes with it, but I have to go inventory it. Yeah, it's gonna be a very maneuverable truck compared to what our antique 1990, aerial that Bill will be loving to see go. So, it's been costing us a lot of money lately with all the breakdowns and, this is a Ferrera truck. I don't wanna say too much, cause I don't want anybody stealing it from us, so.
Right.
But, with the, hurricanes and everything, I talked to the chief down there yesterday about it, and he was going to his council.
You
saying-
mean way west,
Yeah.
not down there, way west, in California.
With the hurricanes, though, they're going to, there've been some interest in it, so he called me to verify that we were interested in it, so I'll call him tomorrow.
Excellent. Good job, chief. Anything further?
No, that'd be it.
Thank you, sir. Oh, there he is. I'm looking for Chief Cody. Chief Cody, police report.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I guess I just want to touch back on our enhancement grant. As you indicated, Diana Farrington's worked very hard for our community. I don't think people realize how hard this community works at getting grants. The fire department's got numerous grants. The police department's been very fortunate to get some grants. Ultimately, to secure something like this changes our dynamics as we move into our fiscal years. It's coming to another close this next year. So I have to say, a lot of those things were on our capital improvement plan. Obviously, those grants go a great distance in keeping the taxpayers from having to bear those burdens. So again, just want accolades to Diana Farrington. I've been to Lansing to kind of see how some of those things work. I have no doubt she put some time in, and to keep us at the top of the list was really something special, because as you well know, people talk about money sometimes, doesn't always come true. This time, it's come through, and it's really going to make a big difference for our taxpayers. I just want them to know that. Other than that, nothing to report.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Lang, DPW report.
Yes, Mayor and Council, again, to echo with the police chief, we're thankful for the grants, the help towards the sewer system, Davis Street Lift Station, relining of the complete sewer system, as well as the lead service line mitigation program that we'll take advantage of. That's all good stuff, and will help the residents with their water and sewer rates moving forward. So we thank you for that. That being said, in your packet, we have a request to purchase a couple of vehicles for the Public Works Department, one in the Street Department, one in the Sewer Department. And I didn't put it in the agenda packet to save some trees, but I actually did go out and solicited an attempt at other vehicles from other dealerships. These are all conceptual vehicles that could be purchased, and they're anywhere from 4 to 6 months out if they come in, things like that. The ones that I have in the packet today are actually they exist, they're live vehicles on the lot for us to purchase with approval from city council. So what I'm looking for tonight, what we have is a 2022 Dodge Ram 2500 service vehicle with outfitted with a snowplow. The cost of that vehicle is $63,805, of which those funds are in the budget, and it's a budgeted item. And additionally, a ProMaster service van.
Well, let's do your first motion first.
Okay, we can do them one at a time. So, the first vehicle I'd like a motion to approve would be the 22 Dodge Ram 2500, and a motion to approve the purchase of that vehicle in the amount of $63,805 from account 101-441-986-000, and that actually has a revenue account of 101-441-692-000.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Sikora, support by Terenzi. I would like to mention, Mr. Lang really went to put in a lot of effort. They also gave us, I've got to find it here, you may have it more available to you.
Yeah, there's $1,750 worth of rebates on that vehicle,
Yep.
which they passed on to us. And that's part of the additional supporting documents that I wanted to add. Most of the dealerships were over invoice with anything that we wanted, plus time out. These folks, Tubb Brothers, were gracious enough to actually give us a discount. So we're thankful for that.
Any further discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. And your second motion, Mr. Lang.
Yes, thank you. So the second motion would be for the approval of the purchase and expenditure from the sewer department. That would be for a vehicle purchase of a 2022 ProMaster van for the amount of $48,964. And that would come from 592-536-986-000. And that's also a budgeted item.
So moved.
Motion by O'Donnell,
Support.
support by Ryan. Any discussion from council? I will add, we got even more generous rebates and discounts here. Mr. Lang, you take the
Yeah, I think
honors.
that was just, like the twofer, because we happened to find the pickup first, and while I was on the phone with them, I asked them, I said, by chance you have something? And then groveled a little bit and explained it's your tax dollars too we're spending. So, and they gave us a $5,000 discount on that vehicle, plus $1,000 in rebates. So we did, as a package, we did extremely well.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any further discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations, let's get those vehicles here.
Yeah, additionally, some of the verbiage in the agenda item summary just states that when the vehicles are in and put in service, that we'll get rid of the excess equipment per the policy that we use to get rid of surplus equipment. So I just want to point that out, that the intention is to get rid of.
Disposal
Disposal policy, Mr. Paternoster.
Pardon me?
Mr. Paternoster said it's the disposal policy.
He
Okay.
peeked out.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the verb, that's the
And I
word.
believe that has to come to council, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I can do that, I think, before we just have a disposal policy, as long as we follow it.
Whatever the policy
Okay, but
says. we'll-
whichever, well, exactly, that's
Yep.
the idea.
Anything further, Mr. Light?
Finishing up some concrete work and getting ready for the stuff that falls out of the sky. Right now, it's leaves. Shh, we don't use that word, but it's coming. Anyway, I will add, we are in the middle of winterizing the hydrants in the water system. So if you happen to notice water on the road or whatever, I mean, be cognizant of the fact that it's probably us flushing. If you get turbidity in your water or dirty water, generally, if you just let it run a little bit, it'll clear and you'll be all set. So it's for the health of the water system, but that's what we'll be out doing that quite a bit now.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a report from Treasury? Mr. Paternoster?
No report this evening.
No report from Treasurer. Madam Clerk, report from Administration.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I am still finishing up absentee ballots, so just wanted to let the public know that they're still coming in the mail. All of them should be in their hands before Friday.
Excellent. Anything further?
No, sir?
Thank you. Parks and Rec? Would you like to speak to Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec would like to thank the Utica Lions for their donation of $500.
One item I know, we're involved with the Trunk or Treat, whatever it's called, in association with Stony Creek Church. That's October 26th, I believe. The trick-or-treaters will be starting at Stony Creek Church and making their way down Cass and I believe Van Dyke, down through downtown. I know Parks and Rec and myself will be out front with a tent and some spooky music and candy for any of the kids that do make their way downtown. Last year was a real cute event. A couple of the businesses, I believe Momentum and A-Line Staffing, had like little bands, some musicians out playing music for the kids. So it was a nice event. So, any families with kids, if you want to participate in that, it's a fun event. And we look forward to giving them all kinds of candy when they come to City Hall.
And Mr. Moore, what's that date again?
October 26th.
Thanks.
What are the times that begins?
I believe, is it 5 PM, Madam Clerk? No roads are closed. Everything's done on the sidewalk and. And I did not think to write it down. I believe it's 5 PM though. There's a Facebook event page.
It says 6:30.
6:30 is the start time?
Yes.
Okay, 6:30 is the start time. And we didn't shut down as long as we saw families walking around downtown, we stayed there, so.
Correct.
But, very nice event. Anything further? No? We have no report from Historic District Commission. Ms. McGrail, City Attorney.
Mayor and Council, I provided an agenda item summary with supporting documentation in the council packet. As you know, Mr. Lang has been involved in litigation versus the City of Sterling Heights Pension Fund for quite some time. They've reached a resolution where the Sterling Heights Pension Fund is going to contribute a certain amount of money to purchase the additional service credits in relation to his time at the City of Sterling Heights. That was something that the City of Utica had promised they would cooperate with when Mr. Lang was hired. This is not to be any cost to the city and gives Mr. Lang credit towards his pension for his years at the city of Sterling Heights. I'm recommending adoption of those agreements, and if you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
So first, we would be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion, as it says here, a motion to approve the transfer of money and credits for service credits so long as it is at no cost to the city of Utica, and to authorize mayor and clerk to complete and sign any requisite documents.
That would be the motion I'm seeking.
Motion by Sikora,
Support.
support by Terenzi. And now for discussion. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Lane. Anything further, Ms. McGrail?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you very much. At this point in the meeting, we open up the floor for communication from the public for any item not on the agenda. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak? Could you step to the podium and give us your name and address, please?
Good evening, Councilman Ryan, O'Donnell, Councilwoman Terenzi, and Councilman Dion, as well as Mayor Pro Tem Sikora and Mayor Calendino. I am excited to tell you, my name is Padma Kupa. I am the current state representative, serving my second term for the cities of Troy and Clawson. About 4 years ago, I went to the city of Clawson and did exactly what I'm doing now, come in front of the members to announce my candidacy for Senate district. At that time, I was running for the first time for House. This time I'm running for Senate District 9, which encompasses Troy, Rochester, Rochester Hills, Utica, the western part of Sterling Heights up until Van Dyke, 4 precincts in Oakland Township, and 3 precincts in Shelby Township. I bring to you my background in local government. I was never elected to office. I was appointed to both the Planning Commission and also to the Zoning Board of Appeals in the city of Troy. So I've been through a lot of local government issues. I've also served on the Financial Ideas team for the city of Troy. So I understand your happiness over getting additional money for the cities. I will share with any of you who are interested the PowerPoint presentation that the nonpartisan House Fiscal Agency does for all legislators to read on the state of revenue sharing. Everyone in the country should know what revenue sharing is, at least in our state, because revenue sharing has been cut over the last several decades. I'm a Michigander for 23 years. I came to work in the auto industry. I myself am a mechanical engineer. I've raised my children and established a career in the automotive industry before I ran for office for the first time. One of the reasons I ran was because of the cuts to public education, but the second is probably revenue sharing. And to see what the cities, the villages, townships, and counties in Michigan have had to do to remain fiscally healthy and sound is disappointing. Over the last 4 years that I've been in office, we have increased the revenues that have been returned to us here in southeastern Michigan. You will see, if I share with you that PowerPoint, that the gaps and who is affected by them most are those of us here in southeastern Michigan. And so I would like to continue the work that I'm doing to elevate that issue. One of the big initiatives that I took on during the last 3 years was particularly to raise with the Michigan Municipal League and the Michigan Township Association what happens when there's a recession. Because in 2010, 2012 timeframe, in Troy, we had to almost cut our police force in half. Our EMS is not the strongest. We're fortunate in Troy that we have a volunteer fire department, but this is the challenge for cities if there is a recession, for those who are having to go back to their voters when we're already sending so much money to Lansing as taxpayers from southeastern Michigan. We should see some of those revenues come back. And we should also have a rainy day fund. And so that is legislation that has been introduced that I have worked strongly for, is to take some of the ARPA money and set it aside, so as cities run into challenges when there are dips or there are needs, that we have that money. I'm happy to sit down. I'm going to stop because I know I've probably
You had
exceeded my 3 minutes.
You just hit 3 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, so again, my name is Padma Kupa. You can learn more about me at electpadmakupa.com. Also see kupa.housedems.com for my work as a legislator. I send out bi-monthly e-news, so you can see the work that I do to stay in communication with my constituents. I look forward to being able to serve the people of Utica. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I believe we have another person that would like to speak tonight.
Good evening, Philip Paternoster, 36755 Woodingham, Clinton Township, Michigan. I am here on behalf of a friend who couldn't make it to talk briefly about the upcoming special education bond proposal that the MISD, Macomb Intermediate School District, has placed on the ballot. This proposal is to provide money for facility improvements, not for operations. And I'm here to ask the public to support this. The friend who couldn't make it here has a child in utilizing the ISD, and I have several personal friends who also have children that have or are utilizing the ISD. The number of children in Macomb County that utilize the ISD's special education programs is staggering. Something like 1 in 40 girls and 1 in 20-some boys in the county take advantage of ISD services. And if this millage is not approved by the voters, the ISD will still have to do the necessary maintenance on the buildings that they were intending to do with this proposal. But it will mean reducing services in order to provide that divert that funding to the maintenance on the buildings. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to address council about any item not on the agenda? All right, for the record, we have no one else that would like to address council at this point in the meeting. We did amend the agenda to add a closed session before adjournment. Just for anyone that might be watching on cable right now, we will be going into closed session. When we come out, we will not be conducting any other city business other than to vote to adjourn the meeting. So at this point, unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask all the smiling faces to leave us for closed session. We appreciate your attendance tonight. Very interesting meeting indeed.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to enter into the closed session.
Okay,
For the purpose of discussing legal advice.
For the purpose of discussing legal
Advice.
Motion by Dion.
Support.
Support by Sikora. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Terenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend? Mayor Calendino?